Hey everyone, and welcome to What Did I Miss? Where today I'll be breaking down the third episode of the fourth season of Star Trek Lower Decks, an entry that is titled In the Cradle of Vexilon. While this episode could be easily shrugged off as another fun adventure for the crew of the USS Cerritos, I think that it may have sneakily given the audience a hint about the mysterious villain that showed up briefly in the first two episodes of this season, along with referencing past events on Lower Decks, as well as a lot of Star Trek Easter eggs to everything from the original animated series to the silliest episode of Deep Space Nine. But before I get into everything I saw, please take a second to hit the like button on this video to support the work that I do. Also make sure that you are subscribed for future videos. Hey everyone, really quickly, I would like to thank our sponsor for this video, Raid Shadow Legends. If you do not know what Raid Shadow Legends is, it is a super detailed and tactical RPG game that has a killer battle system in more ways than one. It also contains a collection of over 700 unique champions, as well as incredible graphics that together create an intense PvE and PvP experience. Raid's been going on for 4 years now and has tons of gameplay options and ways to customize your experience. You can collect hundreds of powerful champions, each with their own unique skills and abilities. Battle against players from all around the world in 3 exciting PvP modes, including the new real-time live arena. One thing that I appreciate as a longtime player is that Raid's constantly evolving with new modes, features, and quality of life updates to make its world even better. You can play Raid anytime, anywhere, with a bustling worldwide community that includes over 400 million players in 190 plus countries. Everybody likes free stuff, right? Especially when the free stuff in question is a legendary champion. Check out Sun Wukong, Raid's take on the Monkey King from Chinese mythology. He makes his grand appearance in the game, and it couldn't be easier to get him. Just log in on 7 different days between now and October 23rd to get your hands on him. No demons to slay or journeys to the west to undertake here, just log in and get this awesome legendary champion for free. For new players, you can get your hands on Stag Knight, one of the best epic champions around, as well as a skin for Stag Knight designed by Jean Tron. Just use the promo code JTSKIN before October 7th. It's as easy as that. Don't worry, if you're not a new player, you can still get Stag Knight and the skin through an in-game event. With all this exciting stuff and more coming to Raid, if you haven't started playing yet, then what are you waiting for? Use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses. We are talking an epic champion and other useful things. Once you're in and crushing your enemies, come find me under the character name Elam Garaka, and if you're good enough, maybe I'll see you in the live arena, but you may not want to see me. The basis of this episode is that Vexilon, a supercomputer that completely controls a space station, is malfunctioning and the crew of the Cerritos is sent to help. A supercomputer controlling a society is a plot device that has been used a few times before on Star Trek, probably most notably in the original series episode The Return of the Archons, which saw the crew of the Enterprise help free the inhabitants of the planet Beta 3 from a computer named Landru. The Cerritos actually visited the planet Beta 3 in the first season Lower Decks episode No Small Parts, and discovered that Landru had taken over the planet once again after it was defeated by Captain Kirk in the original series episode. It is established that Vexilon was built thousands of years ago by an alien species that are not the same species of alien living there now. This is a quick throwaway line at the beginning of the episode that I think may have a connection to this season's villain. The ship must be some type of advanced form of technology after it seemingly destroyed both a Klingon and Romulan vessel in the first and second episode this season. It is also notable that after seeing the ship in action in the first 2 episodes, there is no mention of it in this episode. I think there's a strong possibility that we will learn eventually that whoever built this station is somehow connected to the big bad this season. To emphasize how old Vexilon is, the memory banks that Captain Freeman is using are designed to look like the floppy disks that everyone used in the 80s and early 90s to store and transfer computer information. This episode marks the first time each of the Lower Decks crew are the rank of Lieutenant Junior grade after their promotion in the last episode. Boimler is also in command of 3 other ensigns, one of whom, Taylor, is a Kzinti, who are a race of cat-like aliens that were introduced on the original animated series episode, The Slaver Weapon. I also thought the newest main cast member, T'Lyn, had a mic drop moment early in the episode with this line.
Everything that has ever occurred is science stuff.
Yes, science!
Back on the ship, the lower deckers come upon something they refer to as the Anomaly Storage Room, which houses quite a few Star Trek relics. There is a Vulcan bladed weapon known as a Lurpa, which was first seen in the original series episode Amok Time. There's also a version of the Nomad probe, another example of early artificial intelligence from the original series episode The Changeling. Next we see a Klingon bat lift, which were first seen in the 4th season Next Generation episode titled Reunion. There's also a Betazoid gift box, which was presented as a wedding gift to Deanna Troi in the Next Generation episode Haven. The part of the gift box in that episode was played by Armin Shimmerman, which was just one of his roles on TNG before he starred as Quark for 7 seasons on Deep Space Nine. Rutherford mentions the game Chula, which was brought from the Gamma Quadrant by a group of aliens known as Wadi in the Deep Space Nine episode Move Along Home. Of all the controversial plot lines that took place on DS9, Move Along Home may still be the one episode that causes the most debate among fans, as some see it as the worst episode of Star Trek ever, while others, like me, see it as a testament to how great and diverse Star Trek can be. Although even some of the actors from the episode have voiced, let's say, their displeasure with how it turned out.
You remember this?
When Rutherford first mentions the game, behind him on a shelf, you can see a Romulan cloaking device from the original series episode, The Enterprise Incident. Mariner, Rutherford, and Tendi are then tasked with finding a faulty isolinear chip. These are an advanced form of computer chip utilized as an information storage device or for the operation control of systems on a ship. They are an advancement of 24th century technology that were first mentioned and seen during the Season 1 Next Generation episode, The Naked Now. The handheld devices they are using to scan the chips look to be the T-88 diagnostic tools that both Rutherford and Tendi were excited about getting in the Season 1 episode, Cupid's Errant Arrow. Also running around the ship is the lost ferret of Chief Billups, who he has named Lancelot, a character from the stories of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Since Andy Billups is from a planet named Hesperia, which was colonized by humans who wanted to live in a world based on Arthurian legend, it makes sense that he would name his pet after one of the characters from those stories. This may also be a reference to Porthos, the canine companion of Captain Jonathan Archer on the series Star Trek Enterprise, who is named after the character from the story The Three Musketeers. The update that Captain Freeman attempts does not initially work, and it causes all kinds of extreme weather, which also creates plenty of obstacles for Boimler and his crew. The station continues to unravel as the captain is unable to get the computer to reboot. While this is going on, T'Lyn quotes the most important Vulcan, Spock, in her assessment of the events.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Back on the ship, the lower decks crew create a booby trap for their commanding officer, who's named Dirk, using the Wadi Chula game. After learning that the officer was trapped in one before, Rutherford attempts to take it down and gets trapped in it himself. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Deep Space Nine episode Move Along Home, and I encourage you to watch it yourself. But in that episode, 4 members of the DS9 crew get trapped in a virtual reality of sorts that is also being played in the real world by Quark on the station. It seems in this episode that Rutherford is able to get himself out of the game without help from the outside world. While Rutherford is trapped in the game, Mariner is stuck talking to Lieutenant Dirk about Tellarite slop jazz. At one point, he says someone got hooked on Ketracel White, which is an addictive narcotic created by the Vorta in an effort to control the obedience of the Jem'Hadar to the Dominion, something that Dr. Bashir tried to free them from in the DS9 episode Hippocratic Oath. Lieutenant Dirk is voiced by frequent Lower Decks voice actor Phil Lamar, who now has the distinction of being one of the many actors to play characters on both Star Trek and Babylon 5, after he voiced an animated version of the character Dr. Stephen Franklin in the new film Babylon 5: The Road Home. I did do a review of that film that I will link in the description of this video that you should check out if you want to know what happens and don't want to have to sit through it. When Rutherford escapes the game, he is almost zapped by a device from the anomaly storage room that I think is supposed to be the same one from the Next Generation episode The Inner Light, where Captain Picard is zapped by a probe and given the memories of a lost alien culture, and he also learns how to play the flute. On the station, Boimler and his team are able to restart the computer, but Boimler appears to be killed in the process. He awakens in a room with a picture of a black mountain and is visited by a koala bear. The black mountain and the koala bear that rule the universe have been referenced on Lower Decks before by other characters that have died and then come back, like Shax, who said the black mountain was a spiritual battleground where the soul went after death, after he reappeared in the 2nd season and explained what happened to him to Rutherford in the episode We'll Always Have Tom Paris. Also, the character Steve Stevens mentioned seeing a koala sitting on top of a black mountain after his near-death experience in the 3rd season episode Mining the Mind's Mines. This room also seems to be a reference to the Red Room, a sort of purgatory shown in the series Twin Peaks. If you reverse what the koala bear says to Boimler in this scene, he says, "It is not your time, Bradward Boimler."
It's not your time, Bradward Boimler.
Well, that was everything I saw, but let me know in the comments if I missed anything. Thank you very much for watching. Please do not forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time on What Did I Miss?